All right, today we're going to do something a little bit different. We are going to take video and show it at the beginning of the finished product. The barn ceiling is done. I think it turned out real well, better than expected, mainly because I did it by myself. I had a little help from my wife. I had a lot of offers. I had buddies that wanted to come over and help, and I basically told them no because I didn't know how long it would take me to put the ceiling up. It took me 5 days. I thought it would take a month, but it didn't take that long because everything really fit together well. The Pro-Rib ceiling, it interlocks, and once you lay the first few pieces down, you'll get into a groove, you'll get into a routine, and you'll see that it's not that difficult. I didn't realize that when I first started this. I thought that it was, again, going to really be a pain in my ass. I got lucky. I had 5 days where I didn't have any rain, so the ceiling was able to sit outside. I was able to take my boat outside with a lot of the other things, and it gave me working room. And, you know, it turned out, again, better than expected. Take your time. I would also tell you, don't buy a bunch of overlap. I had 12-foot, two 12-foot sections and an 8-foot section. So on my 12-foot, I bought 12 feet and 4 inches. And don't buy 12 feet and 9 inches or it'll hang off, and you're not going to want that. I would buy an extra 2 or 3 inches. I think I lucked out and bought, you know, the right amount for me. You can see the barn's not perfect. It is off over here just a tad, but it's my barn, and you know, I think I'm okay with that. The screws, I used a straight edge here to line everything up to make sure all my screws were uniform, and I would tell you to do that. It'll look a whole lot better. I missed in 2 places out of all these screws. I missed in 2 places. I also would pre-drill for these screws. I know that's a pain, but it will look a lot nicer. They'll go in a lot better. I flattened out a lot of my screws, and basically it was because it didn't matter to me. Yeah, I flattened them out. I flattened the washer out. If it was a waterproof situation outside up on the roof or maybe on the side of the building, then that would probably be a bad deal. But it's, again, the inside. So those are some of the things that I would do. You're going to notice that, and I've said this 100 times now, I use this hoist, and it's a 16-foot hoist. I also created 12-foot tees, and you'll see them in the video and in some of the pictures that I have that are going to be attached to this. And the tees were as important as the hoist, because the tees allowed me, once I had screws in, to move the hoist out of the way and work easier. And it was just a matter of making a tee out of 2x4s, and I think I even had a piece of flat board, and I made it about 4 feet wide, 12 foot high, and I put a piece of carpet over it where I could wedge it in there. And again, those worked amazing. And I would tell you to at least make one, and you'll see them in the pictures. You know, that was big. You know, the hoist is a 6-foot hoist. It was cheap. I thought I bought it on Amazon. I think I bought it on Walmart.com. I fly toy planes. They're up there with magnets. I bought 100-pound magnets. Used a little tubing and fishing line, and I'm able to hang those now and kind of get them out of the way to give me more wall space. You know, it's just a hobby. And of course, I've got my fishing boat and some other hobbies that I have going. Again, this video is a little bit backwards. You're seeing the finished product first. Menards Pro-Rib and I used it for my ceiling. I guess you could use it for the outside or your roof, but just take your time. Take your time, and they do piece together. And I would tell you that if you want it to look professional, pay somebody to do it. I did not care that it wasn't professionally done. I did it all myself. There's a lot of satisfaction in doing stuff yourself. I did order a hatch because I didn't like the way that looked, and that was $30. It'll be here in a couple of weeks. You know, I don't know why I did that. I just wanted it to look a little nicer right there at the hatch. But once I insulate, I'll screw that in, and hopefully it'll never come out. So, or there won't be a reason to ever take it down. So that's all I have. That's all I have. Again, this is pretty rough video and pictures, but it's of the Menards Pro-Rib panels. One last look at the barn before I start on my Pro-Rib metal ceiling that I bought from Menards. I purchased about $1,000 worth. Somewhere in there, there's some rebates, so I got some money back. And I'm going to put a metal ceiling in my small pole barn. It's a 24 by 32. I'm going to do it myself. I bought a ceiling hoist, or a drywall hoist, off Amazon. I think I paid around $230 for it. But everything that I have invested into the ceiling, which I bought J-channel, about $110 to wrap around the inside of the barn for the Pro-Rib metal ceiling that it'll fit into on the side, along with just some of the insulation. I'm not going to have, probably, I'm going to say $1,500 in this whole ceiling. And the lowest bid I got was $3,200 and as much as $4,700 for insulation and just like a turnkey or a walk away where they're going to do all the work and I don't have to really do anything. That would be very simple to pay that money and be done with it. But my budget calls for $1,000 Menard, again, Pro-Rib metal ceiling, and buying the Amazon hoist and doing it myself. And maybe this will be a good weight loss program for me this summer. We'll see. I think it's going to take a couple of weeks. I'm in no hurry. I bought that metal ceiling in 3 different sections. So the back of the barn will be a 12-foot section. Then I'm going to have an 8-foot section, and then I'll finish up with a 12-foot section. And I'm going to leave an opening in the middle to where if I would have to get up there for any reason, and I'm just going to go slow. I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to try to have fun with it. And do I think that there will be mistakes? Absolutely. But I'm okay with that. With the, again, the money I'm saving and, you know, an opportunity to do it myself, I'm going to do it. Today, Menards delivered my ceiling for the barn. And they were 4 hours late. And the ceiling looks really good. I mean, they're panels. They're the ribbed panels that they offer. I hate to say that the panels, again, they look awesome. They all have one little dent in them where I'm not sure if it was the forklift or exactly what it is, but they've all got a little dent. And I'm not real happy about that. Is it something I can live with? Yes. Is it something I would take back? No. You know, I'm not going to go through all that problem. Here are the smaller 8-foot sections. And today we were only able to put up one 12-foot section in the barn. We're going to try to get a few things done today. I'm considering making an opening where it would be easier to shoot my insulation in. I think that will set me back a day. if not longer. You know, when you don't know how to do things, it just takes longer. I still need to fix my garage rail to the door. I think that looks pretty good, but it's far from perfect. And this is the last time I want to do it, so I sort of want to make it perfect. But there are things to do, and maybe I'll do an update tonight before I go in. Thanks. It's a barn. I just figured for $1,000 I could put a ceiling in, maybe a little more, but I could put a ceiling in and it'd be worth it. I have just a little bit to go. 2 panels. Really, it's going to be a panel and a little bit of trim, but you know, I'm okay with that. It is what it is. Again, today was a little bit of a challenge because I had the lights. I had 2 lights to take out and put back up, and then correcting. It took me 4 days to put this in. And I worked pretty much from about 9 o'clock to 3 or 4 o'clock every day in June. And I got lucky because it's not 105. It's about 84 to 86 in the barn, which isn't really too bad. I can work on that. It was a great weight loss system for me. I've lost 5 pounds in the last 4 days, so that's, you know, that's a pretty good deal for me. So my final Jerry Springer thoughts. My final thoughts are: wear gloves. The tin will cut you in a heartbeat. And I found that out. I've got a couple of cuts. It could be a whole lot worse. Didn't have to go to the emergency room, thank goodness. But small mistakes down the road are big mistakes. If you are contemplating doing this yourself, again, I have a 32-foot long barn to accommodate a bass boat. I also put my lawnmower and some other, you know, I fly toy planes. I have some 6-foot, I think I have an 8-foot airplane. All that comes in here. But if you're contemplating, make the longest runs that you can possibly make. I have a 12-foot run, an 8-foot run in the middle, and then a 12-foot run at the beginning of the barn. So 12, 8, and 12. And I probably wouldn't do that again. I would just go with, you know, 2 16-foot rungs. That's what I would do if I had to do it again. Again, my recommendation would be cut down the number of panels. It will look cleaner. This was easy for me to deal with. That's why I did it. You know, 12, 8, and 12.